I mean, that's a great point about, just the need. I think everything that I've, not everything, but most things that I do come from that is like recognizing that there's a need. I don't really want to do something that somebody's already doing. Like if they're already doing it, it's not that other people aren't designing clothes, but there's a certain angle, a certain voice, or a certain thing that you have that you can offer that nobody else has. And if I see that, then that attracts me to it, and it makes me want to pursue the exploration of it. So in case of other things that I work with PJ, um, something called the Black Lives Music Fund was something I started in 2020 as a to address the need in the Austin music industry, because a lot of Black musicians are not at the table. We're not included in the discussions, and we're definitely not supported in the same way that other musicians are. And this is a live music capital of the world. In 1991, they took on that name. Since 1991, the Black population has gone down incrementally over the last 30 years. So there's a direct relation to people coming here. Oh, it's a great music city. Let me check it out. Let me come here for a weekend or whatever and hang out. To Black people not being in the city. So every year, the Black population has gone down. But every bar you go into, what music are they playing? It's Black music. It's Black culture that they're experiencing. Whether it's Rolling Stones you go and see, or it's whatever, this all comes from Black people. And so, you have a city here that's benefiting off of music, largely generated from Black stories, Black culture, Black everything, and you have a Black population that is diminishing. So those two things, I've been here for 12 years, and I've seen it myself. When I first touched down here, was living in the East Side, right off of Weberville. Everybody that I was encountering, a place called the Hog Pen, and everybody I was encountering was saying, it's going to be over for us pretty soon. The city's changing. This was 12 years ago, and I was basically, even though I was listening, but I was also trying to express to them something that I believe in is like self fulfilling prophecy. Like, we have to see ourselves here in order to be here. But I also didn't have a real grasp on the historic racism and systemic racism that exists here in a similar way, but in a different way than it does in other cities that I've lived in. And so, this is a very racist and segregated city. I did not know that when I moved here, but my experience, my lived experience here over time, brought me to that understanding. And so, the inability of the Austin music industry to really address the needs of Black musicians and Black creators caused me to create the Black Lives Music Fund. And so, the idea behind the Black Lives Music Fund is to have our own fund where we can fund our own projects and, not necessarily look to anyone else for that support, including the city, because many people may not know. I'm not going to go too long on this, but there's something called the Live Music Fund, and that was created out of hotel tax funds from the city. And I am still a part of the music commission as a chair. I was a chair, vice chair, and then chair of the music commission. But before I was a chair, I made a whole lot of noise, and this is what ended up leading me to the creation of Black Lives Music Fund, because all these people sitting in these rooms were talking about how hard it is to be a musician in Austin, how difficult it was to make a living, but nobody was talking about the realities of Black musicians in Austin and Black people in Austin. So as soon as it was hard, as soon as it became hard for a lot of times privileged people to live in the city, then it became an issue that we needed to talk about. But when it was Black people that couldn't afford here and had to move to Manor, Round Rock, Pflugerville, it wasn't headline news. So there's a bias there that's clear. That's not. It's like the elephant in the room. Oh, it's so hard for musicians to be here. Da, da, da. But I'm like, why aren't we talking about how hard it is to live here as a Black person? Why is this such a difficult conversation to have? So I was just like, you know what? The city is built off of Black culture. It's built off of Black music. We need to have a Black Lives Music Fund, and obviously that is legally is something that the city can't really accomplish. It can't say we're just going to give money to Black music. But I made the statement to make a point and saying like we have this live music fund. We should give half of this money to Black musicians. Period. That's just only fair. But knowing that the city couldn't really make that happen, I started the Black Lives Music Fund on my own, and so far we raised almost $20,000. It's a part of another organization that started called DAWA, and we'll be hopefully in 2022 start releasing some of that funding so that Black musicians can do their thing here in the city.